You know, in today's world where everything is connected, securing your network has gotten, well, incredibly complex, right? So today, we're going to break down a next-gen solution that tackles this head-on. It's called Arista Guardian for Network Identity, or much easier to say, AGNI.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dig into the challenges that every modern network is up against. Then, I'll introduce you to AGNI and its pretty cool 5S advantage. After that, we'll see how it makes this idea of zero trust a reality. And finally, we'll wrap up with why this whole approach is really future-proof.
Okay, so to really appreciate why we even need something new, we first have to talk about the problem, right? The thing is, the way we connect to networks today has totally changed. I mean, it's a different world. But a lot of the security tools trying to protect them, they're kind of stuck in the past.
And this really gets to the core of it, doesn't it? It's not just about company laptops anymore. I mean, just think about your own workplace. You've got smart sensors, personal phones, tablets for guests. The sheer number and type of devices trying to get on the network is staggering. And trying to manage all that with old-school tools, it's next to impossible.
And these are the pressures IT teams are dealing with every single day. You've got this ever-growing list of company devices, then boom, an explosion of IoT and IIoT devices. We're talking everything from security cameras to factory floor sensors. On top of all that, bring your own device isn't a perk anymore, it's just how we work. The old tools, they just weren't built for this world. They're way too complex, they cost a fortune, and honestly, they leave some pretty scary security gaps.
And this is exactly where that old security model just falls apart. The whole idea of a trusted internal network, that's gone. It's obsolete. The new way of thinking is called zero trust, and it boils down to one simple, powerful rule. Never trust, always verify. I mean, it doesn't matter if a device is physically inside your building or on the other side of the world. You check it. You verify it every single time.
So if that's the new reality, what does a solution built for it actually look like? Well, let's dive into Arista AGNI.
And here it is. This is your first look at the AGNI dashboard. The big word here is simplicity. Instead of having to juggle a bunch of different, complicated systems, the whole point is to give you everything you need. Total visibility, total control, all from one single, clean screen.
So, let's get specific. What is AGNI? At its core, it's a modern solution for something called Network Access Control, or NAC. Now, there are two really important phrases here, identity-based and cloud-native. Identity-based means it's focused on who or what is trying to connect, not just its location. And cloud-native means it does all of this from the cloud, so you can say goodbye to all those clunky, expensive servers in your data center.
Arista actually breaks down AGNI's benefits into 5 key areas, something they call the 5S advantage. Let's walk through them.
Okay, the first S is simplicity. And the difference here is just night and day. Think about the old way. You're talking about expensive hardware, weeks of installation, and then you're stuck doing upgrade after upgrade. AGNI, because it's cloud native, just completely flips that on its head. You can be up and running in a matter of hours, not weeks. Onboarding is self-service, and the best part, you're always on the latest version, no effort required.
Next up, scalability. So AGNI is built on what's called microservices architecture, which lets it scale elastically. What does that mean? It's actually pretty simple. The system just automatically adjusts itself based on your needs. Whether you have a few hundred devices today or a few million tomorrow, it just works. It grows and shrinks with you, and you get the exact same powerful architecture everywhere, from your main headquarters to your smallest branch office.
And of course, the big one, security. Let's be honest, passwords are a huge weak point. So AGNI moves beyond them. For corporate devices, it uses secure digital certificates for passwordless access. And for all those IoT gadgets or personal devices, it uses something called unique pre-shared keys. It's like giving every single device its own unique, super strong password that no one ever has to type in. And it goes without saying, all the data flying back and forth is completely locked down and encrypted.
The fourth S is stability. Just look at that number. We're talking better than 99.99% uptime. Because AGNI is a cloud service designed for high availability, it's just incredibly reliable. For you, that means it's always on. And get this, there's no scheduled downtime for upgrades. Ever. The system is just always available.
And last but not least, the fifth S, savings. This really changes the whole financial equation. Instead of huge upfront costs for hardware, that's what they call CapEx, you move to a simple, predictable, pay-as-you-go model. This slashes your operational costs, not just for maintenance, but for the number of people you need just to, keep the lights on.
All right, so that's the 5S advantage: simplicity, scalability, security, stability, and savings. Now let's connect all of that back to that big idea we talked about earlier, zero trust, and see how AGNI actually makes it happen.
This is zero trust in action, step by step. So let's say a new device tries to connect to your network. First, AGNI has to classify it. What is this thing? A laptop? A phone? A security camera? Step 2, it authenticates it using one of those super secure methods we talked about. Now here's the really important part. Step 3, it grants that device the minimum access it needs to do its job and nothing more. And finally, step 4, it's not a one-and-done deal. It watches that device continuously for any funny business. Trust is never just assumed.
Okay, so you might be wondering, how does it get all the info it needs to make these smart decisions? That's where its concourse application architecture comes in. The easiest way to think about it is like a universal adapter. It's designed from the ground up to just plug and play with all the other security and IT tools you already have.
And this is what makes the whole thing so powerful. AGNI doesn't live on an island. It actively shares information with the tools you're already using. For instance, it can chat with your endpoint security from CrowdStrike or Palo Alto. It can get device info from ServiceNow, and it works hand in hand with management tools like Microsoft Intune. When you connect all those dots, your security posture becomes so much stronger and more unified.
Here's a perfect real-world example of that. AGNI integrates directly with things like Microsoft Entra ID. So instead of having to build and manage a whole separate list of users, it just taps into the system you already have. It pulls that user and group info right in to enforce policies. It just makes life easier for everyone, for the admins and for the actual users.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. We've looked at the problem, we've seen the solution, and we've gotten into the nitty-gritty of how it all works. So what's the big takeaway here? Why is an approach like this really built for the future?
I think this quote just says it all. The need for network security at every level has never been greater. It's so true. The old idea of a safe zone inside your network walls, that's just gone. Threats are constantly changing, the number of devices is just exploding, and security can't be an afterthought anymore. It has to be woven into the very fabric of the network.
So here's what I want you to walk away with. Arista AGNI isn't just a small upgrade. It's a completely different way of thinking about network access. It's built to be future-proof because it directly tackles the failures of older systems. It gives you one central point of control in a world where your users and devices are everywhere. And most importantly, it takes that big idea of zero trust and makes it something you can actually do.
And that really leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. The way we all work, it's not going back to the way it was. So it's not really enough to ask if your network security is good enough for today. The real question you have to ask is it ready for the challenges of tomorrow?